Ark Survival Evolved is a game which, you know, to an extent we all really know and love, but by no means is it a perfect game, and by no means really is any game a perfect game. But today I just want to go over just a few ideas that could possibly make Ark a better game. And I'm not suggesting wildcards have to do these things. I'm not going on a rant at Ark needs to have these things, but just some light suggestions of, you know, what I would like to see in Ark in the future potentially. And if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be very angry with it, but you know, it would be nice to see these improvements. So let's just get into the first one. It's quite a basic one. It is still kind of in the game, but I do want a full return of flyer speed leveling because it is one of my favorite things. Yes, maybe for PvP some people found it is really just overpowered, and that's probably why it got removed in the first place. But for PvE it's totally fine, and even for those PvP scenarios you can just put a cap on the speed, like maybe 125% or 135%, and I'm sure that will all go relatively smoothly. You should have no real issues with that. Also, I would like to see a lot more realistic creatures being added just further as the game goes on, and we are getting that with the likes of the Zafactinus and creatures similar to that. You know, it did actually exist in the real world, because, like, yes, Ark has loads of fancy creatures, and creatures like the Griffin are amazing and fantastic, but Ark is kind of a dinosaur game at the end of the day, and getting some more dinosaurs would be nice. Actually, I will list a few dinosaurs that I think they could potentially add as well. You know, the Tylosaurus, it's sort of the Mosasaurus, but like, you know, I've always thought of it as a cooler dinosaur. The Tylosaurus would be a great recommendation for me. You could also get the Salsasaurus in as another sort of, you know, big dino like the Bronto. Maybe it could do something else along with that. And also just one other creature that I can think of adding. We could get, you know, like some Anomalocaris, I think it is. Like some more Cambrian things in, because that would really shape up the ocean space in the game. Also, comment down below any real life dinosaurs that you'd really like to see in Ark that maybe are in other Ark games, or just aren't in other dinosaur games in general, but like you just haven't seen in Ark, or just creatures that aren't even in any other dinosaur games that you know of that you just really want to see in Ark, and hopefully in the future they might even get added into the game. And there's also obviously loads of mods as well, so I think you'll be perfectly fine finding a few of those creatures, at least some of the more popular ones. There must be an Anomalocaris somewhere. I think there is in Ark Editions, which is quite nice. I'll have to use that at some point because that is quite a nice mod. Ark Editions is actually, like, seriously an underrated mod in my opinion. I really do like that. Now, in terms of maps as well, there could be a little bit of something else which I would really like to see, which is a full underwater map, or like a full ocean map with maybe a few islands dotted around it. Yes, there's that biome on Gen 1, the ocean biome, but having a map with just loads of ocean and all of that would be really nice to have. I just want to see what the experience would be like, and just you have loads of really cool underwater creatures, and it's based on that. If that was the ASA surprise, considering how nice the water and the water physics is in ASA, that would actually be quite a nice thing in my opinion. Also, another thing which could sort of make the game better in a way is some more realistic dino models, and also some creatures really do need some TLC. Like, genuinely, like, some creatures are just absolutely rubbish, you know, in terms of things like their abilities and all of that are just the bolt standard. Some of them can't even attack, which is just a shame. But going to realistic dino models, I think that's going to be more Ark 2's focus in some sense, but I feel like some of them are just a bit not to what they should be. I know I'm really talking about small improvements here, but still I would like to see that. Also, and in another point, I would potentially like some ability for some fortification. Yes, you can get obviously better structures, but just having some simple fortifications on your structures that you can put inside, sort of like the fortifications you put in bases in Subnautica, would be something which would be quite nice for me to see in Ark. I would thoroughly enjoy that. Also, a kind of quick build feature would be nice. If you have like a base that you really like, then save it, and then if you have all the resources for it, you can quick build it and put it down right there, perfect every single time, and you'll know instantly if it's going to fit. A planning mode could also be quite nice in the building department, where you can plan out a blueprint for a house that you want and then just slowly build it up as well, and then maybe save that blueprint too. Also, if you probably know Scrap Mechanic, I'm sure some of you do, it is quite a popular game. If you could upload maybe some bases and builds and creations to the Steam workshop like that, that would actually be quite a nice thing as well. And you could even upload maybe some custom cosmetics and things like that. I know you can do it with mods, but still, having a further ability to customize things like bases and even saddles and things like that would be really nice. Like to have some customized saddles beyond colors, like you can just customize how they look in a way, like you can change, you can add more straps to add more armor, or take some away to gain some extra movement speed in your creature. Just things like that would be really nice for me to see. Also in the ASA, I want the original ASE characters back, because in my opinion they are far too goofy and I really don't like the look of them. I find they're a little bit derpy in some sense, but you know, they're probably here to stay at this point. I doubt they're going to be changing. Also, some sort of tattoo machine would be nice to see in Ark. They did sort of hint of, you know, you could put some tattoos on yourself, but having a machine maybe to do that for you, and then you can use like oil or something like that, or maybe the dye would make more sense, some black dye or something, and you get some dye and then you can do that. And then if you could tattoo your dinosaurs as well, wouldn't that be such a cool cosmetic thing if you had like a wyvern and then just had like a dragon tattoo like on its belly or something like that. I think it could really add to the game cosmetically. In terms of the story as well, maybe some quests that you would get from explore notes would be nice to see, rather than just simply basically going into caves and getting artifacts. I know it does slightly change up from time to time, but I feel like the system of completing maps is always kind of too similar. Also, actually, as just a final point for today, because this is going to be the last one, we're almost at the end of the video, don't worry if this has been boring for you, hopefully it hasn't though. I would like to see some more attacks and abilities being added on general things, as come on, when you look at other games like Zelda, there's just so much variety in how things actually attack. In a game like Ark, you're simply just clicking a button, and I feel like a lot more variety could be added here, and it could make the game much more enjoyable in that aspect.